Hi guys, it's Alea. Before we get into today's episode, I want to announce some important changes for Tease. For the time being, Tease will be a bi-weekly podcast, meaning that a new episode is going to be released every other week. It makes me really sad to say this, and trust me, I'm fighting feelings of failure and imposter syndrome, but I want to continue to give y'all the best content, the best quality, and I want to also give y'all, most importantly, consistency. And I think the best way for me to do that and to manage everything is going to be to put the podcast on a bi-weekly schedule for now, so you can expect to see a new episode every other Tease Tuesday. But there will be content produced weekly on the Instagram, on TikTok, and on our YouTube shorts. And don't worry, sometimes there will be some occasional mini episodes for fun. But please be sure to keep up with it, and I will always write in the bios when the next episode is going to drop. And be sure to write in your questions, stories, advice for any Q&A episodes. I appreciate you guys and I love you guys. And now let's get into today's episode. It's Alea Antoine. You're listening to Tease Podcast.
Everyone loves the tease. Stop.
But don't get too excited. I hate that. I hate when people are passive aggressive, they single you out, they're mean to you, they exclude you, and so then you finally have enough. You don't even act a fool, you just politely remove yourself and say that you want nothing to do with them, and then they reverse it to them being the victim. Hello everyone, and welcome to Tease Podcast. It is so amazing to be back with you guys after our 2-week hiatus. I am so excited to say that there are going to be some changes coming to Tease, and by changes I mean decor-wise. We are finally setting up the podcast room. It was supposed to already be done by now, but one thing about me is I can furnish and I can decorate an entire place no matter the budget. Like, give me at least $200 and I can redo an entire room. I don't know why, I'm just really savvy at deals. Like, when I was I think 13 years old, I pretty much was my mom's whole wedding planner. I did her hair, I did her makeup, I helped book the venue, I came up with the decorations, I made the Pinterest mood board, I helped set up, I was in charge of getting everything together, I picked out the flowers, I was on my shit. So I'll never let a budget stop me. And I wanted to redo the podcast room, but I was looking for a couch. And one thing that I feel like you realize in your early 20s is what a flex it is for people to have furniture. I'm not even joking. I can't believe that I used to be a kid and I would go into my friend's house and I would pay no mind to the couch, to the table, when people have a freaking bar in their house. I did not realize what a flex it is to have a furnished living space, and not even just a regular furnished one, but with nice furniture, you know? And so I feel like we just kind of got enough for our actual place, and now it's time to work on the podcast room. And I wanted to find a really good couch, but I didn't want to just find any cheap old couch to do it on, you know what I mean? I didn't want this to look like we were in a frat dorm room, you know? And so I was on Facebook Marketplace, and I also I wouldn't say that I'm a germaphobe. I kind of am a germaphobe. I come from a long line of people with OCD. It's ridiculous. My family is so spick and span. My grandma is the type to if you're eating and a crumb drops out of your mouth, she'll be cleaning up right as you're eating. No shoes in the house, no crumbs ever. Honestly, I could put all of my food on my mom's kitchen floor and I would eat off of it because that's how clean it is. She cleans it literally twice a day. I don't think that I'm like that. I'm not like that now. But every year, as I get somewhat older, I can feel it coming into me. I used to be so messy, and now, I see a little bit of a mess, and I feel like my brain's gonna explode. Me and Kai are always having the "you're super messy" argument, and I get it. Kai lives like a normal person, and I'm starting to get to the creepy, annoying OCD part. So I know that I'm probably really annoying, but I can't help myself because when I see a t-shirt on the ground, then I'm really annoyed. So it's like, who's going to be annoyed? I mean, both of us now. I can't just be me, it's going to be you too. If I'm pissed off, everyone's pissed off. Anyway, so I was trying to find a couch on Facebook Marketplace, and I didn't want to get a used one that looked like it had been used. Like, I had a few criteria. One, if I was gonna get it from like an actual household, it had to be sold by like a girly who looks like she keeps up with her house. You know what I mean? Like, I am not going to buy it from a 3-person male apartment. Like, I wasn't even gonna buy a couch from a guy unless he was a member of a family and he's selling it for the wife, or he owns a furniture store. But just any guy, I'm not getting your fucking couch. I'll probably find a condom in the cushion, you know? And so I was like, okay, we gotta narrow it down to the girlies and the esteemed gentlemen who are married to the girlies or sell the furniture. That narrowed it down, but it felt like literally as soon as I would find one thing, it would be gone. Like, Vegas Facebook Marketplace sucks. I used Marketplace in Texas and Seattle, and I did not give it enough credit. I thought when I moved here, I was like, it's gonna be going off, there's gonna be the deals. No, one thing about here is there's a shit ton of scammers on any resale app on Marketplace, and people like to charge a ton of money for their ain't shit items, but won't want to pay for your own items, you know? Like, I will see the most absurd listings, like 2 chairs for $200, but if I list 2 chairs and let's say I put $200, people would be like, 40. Like, I listed an iPad and someone offered me $70 fucking dollars. But then you see someone listing a Nintendo Switch for like $300. Like, it's so annoying. Like, I feel like in Seattle's like a really overpriced, Washington in general is a really overpriced state. So people will list their stuff for a pretty fair price, and people are willing to pay a fair price because they know that it's a deal. You know what I mean? Here, people are fucking cheap. They want to make a bunch of money, but then not pay the adequate amount for what you're selling. Ugh. It's really ridiculous. So, like, I would see some couches for like $1,000 for a used couch. I don't care if that shit's from CB2. If your ass is on it and it's in your house, it's not in the quadruple digits anymore. It should at least be in the hundreds, you know? So there was that. I finally found like this really cute pink couch that had like arches and everything. It didn't go through. I should have known. It was one of the guys, and I broke my rule, and it didn't work out. But everything happens for a reason, and I ended up finding the cutest one on Amazon. I was literally at the UPS store yesterday. I was like looking through stuff, and I'm like, these are all cute, but like, it's whatever. All of a sudden, Amazon Renewed pops up, and it's like a used like new, like I've told y'all before on the budgeting episode, is that no one's actually used it. They just opened the package and decided that they didn't want it. Like, they're like, this isn't going to work for me. So used like new is never actually used. Comes in the original packaging. It's a velvet, super cute white and gold couch. And honestly, looking back, I think white would be better than pink, because as much as I love the color, like, there does come a point to where you have to think when you're buying things, how versatile do you want it to be? You know what I mean? Like, buying a pink top, whatever, but a pink couch, like, eventually you're not going to be able to take Instagram pictures anymore because everyone's going to be like, you've taken pictures on the couch forever. A white couch, I could just pretend. You change the pillows, you change the decor, it looks like an entirely different room. A pink couch is always going to be a pink couch. Like, it's not morphable enough, you know? And so, hopefully within the next 2 episodes, we'll be able to show the new and improved room. I am so excited. Well, as you can tell, I look a little different than I normally do. And I hope that right now you're not thinking, oh my God, she's a catfish. She looks so much better with makeup. I would like to think that I look the same. But yes, I am wearing a full face beat right now, which I normally don't do for the podcast. I normally like to just do a no makeup, even maybe like some mascara, a little bit of blush, but for the most part, little to no makeup when I record, mostly because sometimes I feel like when I wear makeup, I lose my personality. Do y'all feel like that too? Like, I feel like sometimes speaking of which, is there lipstick on my teeth? I did not check that. Let me just check real quick. But a lot of times I feel like when I wear makeup and I record, I like lose my personality. In general, when I wear makeup, I feel like my personality kind of fades a little bit. And it's not that you're trying to play a role. It's more like Like, makeup is literally like substances and like creams and shit on your face. So I'm kind of focused on it. And like, as much as I'm used to it, I've been doing it for a long time. Like, I'm not the type of girl that can like fall asleep in their makeup. I'm not the type that can even chill in lashes. Like, my friends will tell you, we would go out to the club and like, we would be in the car and I would be already with a makeup wipe, taking it off, ripping off my lashes. Like, I have never hit the point to where I feel comfortable being chill in makeup. I can't even be in the house with makeup. I need to be like actively doing something. But I think that's why it works well for me, is because sometimes when you marinate and you're ugly and you're no makeup for a while, when you finally put it on, it looks good. And so since I marinate a lot, when I finally put it on, it pops out. But you know what? If I'm also thinking that, I'm sure a lot of other girls feel that way. Like, I've had friends to where they're like, okay, my lashes are on. I can feel the inner corner poking me. My setting spray feels like I have glue on. So I'm just gonna smile, be quiet, and look pretty. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe when people are like, girls who are pretty have no personality. No, that's not true. They just can't think because they have a fucking mask of makeup on. It's not our fault. It's not our problem, and we all go through it. But today is actually the day before Valentine's Day, and me and Kai are about to go out tonight. The great thing about being a lesbian is that we get all the Galentine's deals, because I actually work on Valentine's Day, which I wasn't too mad about, because I was like, I feel like Valentine's Day is a man-made holiday, so if you want to celebrate a day early, that's fine. It's not like Christmas or anything, you know, like you can kind of pick the fucking day that you want to do. The pinks and the reds are still going to be out. You can still get a gift, you know? And we noticed that all around town, especially in Vegas, there's a lot of Galentine's events. Like, I feel like all girls do Galentine's, but it's not, at least nowhere that I lived before had like to where venues had events for Galentine's. But here, a lot of them do. And they do like ladies' night, you get complimentary drinks. We got 50% off of our bill yesterday. And I'm like, this is literally the cheat code. This is what it's all about. This is fighting for equal rights. We're going to take advantage of this. So we went to our first Galentine's party yesterday. And honestly, I think that the girlies love that we were there. Like, first of all, we are part of it. And two, like, I mean, we're still Galentines. They didn't say that you can't date your Galentines. But we got like 50% off of our whole bill yesterday. And then we're going to go to the casino right now. If that goes well and we don't lose all of our money, then we'll go to another Galentine's after. So I got kind of dressed up, and then I want to take pictures on my camera. Guys, if y'all are thinking about getting the Canon G7X, because I know how much it's always trending, here's a disclaimer I want to give to you guys. The camera is one of those cameras that, like, you need to figure out the settings for you. Like, you can't rip that camera out of the box and expect magic to happen, like how you see on all the TikToks, and you think you're gonna get, like, the most perfect pictures. It literally is one of those things where you need to pick out what works for your skin tone. And so I'm having such a hard time because on one hand, I'm watching tutorials, and at first I set my camera to this, and I was like, why do I look dark as hell? My skin tone's completely out, you know what I mean? And it's because I looked at like a white and a Middle Eastern girl with very pale complexions, so that didn't work for me. Then I looked at this black girl's, but she had gray undertones, so when I did it, I literally looked like a ghost. Like, I looked like so pale in it. And so now I'm trying to find the settings for me, and so I want to let y'all know, if you're thinking about getting that camera, you really gotta play around with it. It's gonna be a couple tries before you get something that you like, because it's so hard to find a creator who's done a video on it that has the same complexion and undertone as you. So just a little disclaimer, we're fighting for our lives with that camera, but I can tell that like I'm making progress and we're getting there. Especially because like people make it to where they want a golden tone, but my skin tone is already golden and orange. So when I put on the settings that other people do, I literally looked like Donald Trump. Like, I looked so fucking orange. But I just really hope that I'm going to survive in this outfit, because it's raining in Vegas. Guys, I literally woke up and I was like, oh, why is it still dark outside? Like, I'm used to waking up to like the sunshine, the brightness, and I was like, I'm getting war zone flashbacks from Washington. Why is it gray outside? We look out the window. It's fucking pouring rain. I didn't even know that it rains in the desert. I mean, yes, it's only like a once a month or less thing, but this isn't what I signed up for. Like, I signed up for the sunshine, and something about it is just, it's pissing me off. But it does prove that seasonal depression is definitely real because I mean, Kai is literally asleep right now. And Kai was like, it's so gloomy out that I just like want to be in bed. And so I thought this would be a perfect time to record because I was like, it's either record or bed and couch rot. And then we don't make it to the casino. But you guys are holding me fucking accountable. What has been going on in life lately? Okay, recently the Super Bowl just passed. And no, I do not watch the game. I used to always work the Super Bowl when I worked at like Hooters and Twins and stuff. And I just fucking hated it. It gave me PTSD. My first ever Super Bowl that I had to work, someone hit my car. Like with me in it, they hit the fucking driver's side. And so that's like my very first memory of like being an adult around the Super Bowl. And ever since then, I was just like, nah. Not to mention, I just hated working it. This time I was off, which was nice. Let me just say, it was the perfect day to go shopping. I went shopping all day and it was so amazing because one, there were no unattended men there. The only men that were out were being walked by their women. Every other guy was at the bar watching the Super Bowl. So it was like, I want to put money on it that the Super Bowl is probably the safest day to walk around alone outside for women because all the men are caged up in their houses and at the bar watching it. So keep that in mind for next time. I did watch the halftime show. I already posted a video about it. It was just an amazing halftime show. It was so amazing. I was speechless. It was literally like watching art before our eyes. All the hidden, but also not hidden messages were so empowering. Like when people say that they didn't like it or stuff, I'm like, you must just lack an IQ because it was very straightforward. Was very it was just monumental. Like, I just feel like it's something that we're going to see in the history books. And honestly, I watched the halftime show 2 times. And I think on the second time I cried. Like, I literally cried on it. Well, I probably just got teared up. But it was just, it's just with everything going on nowadays, with all of the craziness that's been happening, the ways that minority communities have been affected, like to see something like that and to see it on such a huge platform, it showed that like we are all strong when we stand together, and it was just really empowering. So much so that I put in my 2 weeks at my job. Oh my gosh, I have been battling demons because I have worked a lot of jobs, as y'all know, and like I've had crazy different kinds of bosses, but at the end of the day, like I've never really had a boss that's like really like made me think about them in my free time. Like I feel like I've had a great relationship with all of mine. At my current job though, like this bitch is out to get me. Like it started off as little things, you know what I mean? Like saying hi to everyone except me, offering everyone dessert except me. Then it progressed into like kind of a little bigger things. Like I would have a coworker that like would mess up on something and I would get blamed for it. I would do the same thing maybe as my coworker and I would get in trouble for it. So then I was kind of like, okay. Then it got a little bigger and it was like just like very like passive aggressive remarks. And I hate passive aggressive people because when you try to repeat back what they said, you can't all the way explain how bitchy it was because they deliberately made it bitchiness wrapped in a bow. You know what I mean? And so it was just a lot of like basically like little things, and then it started as like singling me out. Then it was, oh, your hair is wrong, your nose piercing's wrong, your shoes are wrong. But these are all things that like whenever I get hired at a place, like I know I have really long hair, I know I wear pretty big jewelry, and I knew about my shoes. So I asked like, are all of these things okay? They were all okay until a certain point. It was just like a light switch flipped off in her, you know what I mean? And so it was starting to get like really hostile. I felt so uncomfortable going to work. And then one day I remember she took me in the back, like in the storage closet, and was like, you don't clean your tables and your drinks die in the well. And I was like, well, that's really funny because I always clean my tables, and none of my drinks have done well. But my coworker who I was working with, I did see all that happen with her. So it was just like a buildup of things, right? And I was honestly just gonna let it go because I was like, I'm planning on quitting soon anyways, but I was just taking my time with it. And then last week, for no reason, all of my shifts just get cut. And I have like some of the highest sales. All of my shifts get cut. I only have 2 days. One Tuesday night, one Thursday morning. That's a total of 1 day. Those are like the shittiest shifts. And then after she does that, there's a complete switch of personality. She starts being all nice, all in my face, trying to talk to me like all the time. And so then I ask her about it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, like it was just on accident, you know what I mean? Like da da da." So I asked my other manager who normally makes the schedule, and she's like, "Nope, I gave you a normal schedule. The general manager changed your days." And so then I was like, okay. Guys, it's been a long time since I've faced like any sort of like being singled out in an environment like that. So it definitely like, I feel like I've been spaced out from it. Like I disassociated. I can't even deal with it, especially because if it was the place that I gave a fuck about, then I would. But a part of me is just like, I fucking hate it already. So like, I don't really care. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave. You know what I mean? And after seeing Kendrick's performance, I was like, there's no way I'm working for this bitch anymore. Like, how am I gonna watch this shit twice and then like stay at this place? So I put in my 2 weeks, and the girl looks shocked. She's like, oh, she's putting it in, and starts like tearing up, saying that I'm the mean one. And I hate that. I hate when people are passive aggressive, they single you out, they're mean to you, they exclude you, and so then you finally have enough. You don't even act a fool, you just politely remove yourself and say that you want nothing to do with them. And then they reverse it to them being the victim. It's just so mind-blowing. I need a study on people like that. I need a study on people that act like this, because it's the worst type of gaslighting. Like, you're going to be so mean once you finally carried out your plan of taking me out the schedule. Now you want to be nice. And when you see that I'm done, I don't want to have a part in whatever game is happening, you're going to be the victim? I can't. So I have just been at a place in my life right now where I have no idea what's going on. I honestly can tell you guys, like, honestly and sincerely, I really don't know what's happening at all. I don't know where things are going. I don't know what's happening. If you ask me, hey, what do you think's going to be happening in the next 6 months? I have no fucking clue. It's probably been contributing to like my stress. Like, I have just been so stressed out about everything lately, and like, stress is the worst thing for you guys. Stress kills, and people always tell you don't stress out and all this stuff, but it actually is so true, because since I've been stressing out, my skin broke out with acne, my eczema flared up. So I went to the dermatologist yesterday. I have to get all of my acne and eczema medication like recalibrated. I have to go get blood work done. And so I just want to let you guys know that as fucking crazy as life is and stuff like that, if you can do things to not stress out, do it, because literally it will take years off of your life. I literally read a study, and it said that people who are under stress like reduce their life like by 1 to 30 years. So then I started stressing out about that. And when I saw my acne and my eczema, then I started stressing out about that. And so it's just been kind of I wouldn't want to say that it's a downward thing. I would just say that I normally have kind of like an anger, you know, like I'm working on school or that kind of stuff. Right now, I don't know what's happening. I would say that the only things that I know is that I'm going to continue doing this podcast. I'm going to continue creating content. And that's pretty much all I know that's going on right now. I remember listening to a podcast the other day because I was like, I need some direction in my life. And basically the girl was like, one thing I have for people in their 20s that don't know what's going on is get comfortable with that. She was like, my best advice is to get comfortable with the fact that you have no idea what's fucking happening. And you know what? I think that being in places like this, as much as they suck, and as much as it sucks to have people fuck you over and you feel like you have to start things over, it does give you a lore. And I think it's also just like, at least I know that my story isn't going to be boring. But yeah, I mean, I feel like whenever you hit a place like this, though, it really is only up. Like, I think that I've finally gotten to the point to where I've cut out all the toxic people in my life. I cut off the toxic jobs in my life, and I'm just gonna focus on what I like doing. And I think not having a huge expectation about things is somewhat freeing, because I think the only strategy that I haven't tried in life yet is not caring. I have always cared. I have always given a fuck. I have always tried again, stressed out, had anxiety. Like, guys, like, I am a constant nervous wreck. And that's what I think what surprises people sometimes. Because, like, when I tell, like, my family or, like, my friends or even Kai about that, like, I think that on the surface, you wouldn't really know that I have that problem. I get really bad anxiety, but I don't have like in a social aspect. Like, I can be in a room full of people and you would never know. It's more of just like a personal thing that I get. And I don't even know how to really describe it all the way, but it's just like my body is constantly in a state of like fight or flight. And I think that now I've just actually hit a place to where I don't care. And you know, when people tell you the best things happen when you don't care, so stop caring, that advice is really hard, because it's hard to tell your brain, don't give a fuck, don't expect things, don't want this result. It's really hard to recalibrate your brain like that. And I will say that the only way that I have achieved this right now is that it just happened. I have no rhyme, reason, recipe for this happening. All I can say is I think that I finally got to the point to where I've gone through so much shit in life that I'm broken down. I'm like, you know what? All I know in this life is that you never know what's going to happen next. You don't know what's going to go right. You don't have control on what's going to happen. I give up. That's literally how I feel. I give up. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to do things that I care about and hope that life just takes me down the right path. And it is really freeing, but it isn't one of those things that you can force yourself to think. It kind of just happens. And here's the thing. That's a scary thing, because for some people, they hit the not caring and then they stop trying. And that's really dangerous. You never want to stop trying. When you hit the no care zone, please keep trying. Being in the no try zone is dangerous, debilitating, and a downhill spiral. And I don't want y'all to ever mistake my advice as in giving up. Never give up. Keep trying, but you do have to hit a point to where you kind of have to accept that you have no idea what the result is going to be on absolutely anything that you were going to do. Like, I thought that I was going to quit this job with the mentality of, I'm going to this and I'm leaving because my time is up here. I didn't think I was going to leave because my boss was like pretty much singling me out. But I thought that I would be leaving this job on a good term of, oh, I'm leaving because this and this. Not, I'm leaving because you're a fucking asshole and I feel so uncomfortable around you. It's a hostile work environment. Like, I was not expecting for a job that I was already planning on leaving for me to be scurrying out of there like I was running from a fucking wild bear. You know what I mean? Because that's how I literally feel right now. Like, I have about 5 more shifts left and I'm literally dreading them. I'm not excited at all, but you know what? It's part of the story, and you never know why things really happen. I guess we'll all be in touch to find out. One thing that helped really calm my nerves, though, is that I was on the couch. I was in the dark. It was 4 p.m. I had cried for a good 12 hours, probably. And I was like, I need to see a tarot card reader. It's so surprised that I believe in tarot cards. I believe in magic. I believe in psychics. I believe in all of that, honestly. And like, I grew up in a Catholic school. I grew up in Christian school, but I'm also Creole. I'm also from Louisiana, like my like family and everything. And I just think that in this crazy world where so much happens, I find it so hard to believe that there isn't some sort of like extra energy, some sort of, dare we say, magic. And so I believe in tarot card readers and all that stuff, although I don't believe it in a sense of like this is the only thing I care about. But I think that it can help really soothe your mind and calm you down. Even if you don't believe in it, sometimes just hearing something positive back to you can actually help you enact it. You know what I mean? So one of my cards read that I need to tap into my creativity. You know what I mean? Let's just say whether that was real or not, it pushed me to like really be up on my content game again, to be doing the podcast, to be keeping up with it. So sometimes just hearing the right thing can help you manifest it because it gives you that push on the ass, you know? And so I went and got a good tarot card reader. I would say that the way that I found one is I just looked on Google and Yelp and everything. A couple things that I look for that are just personal things when I look for a reader or anything is one, I don't want them to be like an influencer. I don't want them to have a good Instagram because why are you a tarot card reader with a good Instagram? No, you're supposed to be wacky. I want mine to be a little off their rocker. I want them to be a little wacky. I want them to be a little rough around the edges. I want them to just kind of be a wackadoodle, honestly. And the lady that I had, I actually went to her house for it. I don't know what she's doing on the side, but she had the most gorgeous mansion I have ever seen. I only saw 1/4 of it, a hallway, and it was bougie as fuck. But I knew I made the right call because I'm looking straight ahead with my 5'2" self. Me and Kai look all the way down and we see the lady at a good like 4'6", and I was like, "You're the perfect reader. I did right." I did right. I did right. And I think regardless of what you believe in, just getting like your cards read and stuff could be like so freeing and it can just help you. And so honestly, that was what got me like out of my funk a lot. Guys, I was down bad. I was down astronomically. I hadn't been that down bad in a while, but now I've kind of just accepted that I have no idea what's happening, and I think that that just makes me normal. I think I'm just a normal 22-year-old to be saying that. I actually don't think that I'm unique when I say that at all. I think that none of us really know what we're doing. And I think that a lot of times when I hear people in their 30s that are like, I like my 30s more, I think it's because they always say that because now they have some sort of direction. Or even if they have no direction, they have some sort of money, and that makes everything better. Like I've been telling y'all, I've been watching Real Housewives of New York. Great binge. Great binge. I'm not watching the new seasons. Don't come at me. I'm watching the old ones. I love reality TV, as y'all know, and I watched Real Housewives of Potomac, Atlanta, Salt Lake City. Also, Salt Lake City, the reunion, I have no idea how those bitches made up. I don't get it. I think that it's time for them to just do a refresh of the cast. I think that they've hit a point to where it's just like boring now. And specifically, I think Meredith needs to go. I think for Real Housewives of New York, Real Housewives of New York and Real Housewives of Potomac are literally the black and white version of each other. They're both so entertaining. Something about the East Coast makes people wacky as hell, but great TV, and I've been loving it. And it's also been showing me that you never know where you're going in your life because these bitches are like 50, 60, 40 years old, and they also are like, I have no idea what's happening. And so I think it's just a constant thing that we all go through. So I think that we just need to like zen it out and just do what you love, and hopefully like things come from it. I don't know. Guys, right now isn't about advice. I give out advice when I've made it over the rough patch and over the hill. So when I say a complete cure for getting through this, I don't know it. I don't know it, and that's the beauty of this pod right now. Lastly, I want to go into a little bit of an Operation Tease. Woo woo. People who are under stress like reduce their life like by 1 to 30 years. So then I started stressing out about that. I want to go into Operation Tease because I did something completely new to my body lately, and I got laser hair removal for the first time. I want to do this as an Operation Tease because I used to be an avid waxer, and girls would always ask me questions, whether in person or not, about how I felt about waxing. And now that I've got laser hair removal, I feel like I can share a little bit more on what I think about them. So here's some things. First of all, waxing is a bitch. And as a pain level, I think that the waxing hurt a little bit more. One thing with waxing though is that a lot of times it can feel more accessible because you just go to the European Wax Center, you just go to this place. Like waxing places don't require like a lot of scheduling. It's very like easy, accessible to go into. Waxing, you have to grow out all of your hair in that desired area, and then that's how you get it. You're not supposed to shave in between. So pretty much you grow it out like Chewbacca and then you go in, you know? When you're getting a Brazilian for waxing, I blocked out the first time I got it. I'm not gonna lie. It it literally is hot wax on your vagina that's being pulled off. It does give really good results though. It's super smooth, and it is again nice that you don't have to do any pre-care, pre-shaving beforehand, you know what I mean? But you want to get a good waxer though, because trust me, I've had really good waxers where I'm like, this is amazing. I've had average ones to where I'm like, okay, there's still a little hair, I don't really like it. And then I've had some to where I remember I was with a lady that was left-handed. And I don't know what that had to do with her waxing abilities, but I was in there for an hour and a half because she couldn't do it. And yeah, it was just really uncomfortable. Price point, it honestly depends. I only ever went to the European Wax Center, and in Texas, it was like $50 or $60. In Washington, it was about $80, and in Vegas, it was about $60. So you're looking at anywhere from like 50 to 80 for waxing, and then a lot of times they offer like memberships and that kind of stuff. I think waxing's really good if you just want to like be quick. You don't want to think about how you're going to become a member of the place. Like again, it's just a really quick sign up process. It's not like you're searching for the right place to really go. If you go to the European Wax Center, like you're set, you know? It does get rid of ingrowns, but not all the way. So it really like subsides them, but after a while you do kind of see like little ones. And I will say that I feel like the upkeep for it is pretty easy. Like I did it for 4 or 5 years, and it definitely gets less painful and the wax lasts longer. So like I started off with going like every 3 weeks, then I went to every 4, and towards the end I was only there like every 6 to 8 weeks. So it definitely lasts. They'll tell you they have to come every 4 weeks, but that's just how they make more money. Now I got laser hair removal for the first time. Um, Basically what happened was there was a laser hair removal spa, and they reached out to me because I am an influencer. I can't even say that. But they reached out to me for social media content because I am the pillar of content creation. I'm laughing because it's like, I don't think that's a joke. But they reached out to me because they were like, hey, like we can hook you up with some laser hair removal if you post about us, you know? And so I was like, okay. I had never done it before, but I had literally just gotten kicked out of the European Wax Center. I had literally just got kicked out of the European Wax Center's membership program because basically like I changed addresses on my card, so one of the payments didn't go through, but I still got a wax, and I thought it was just a whole thing. So I was like, I didn't want to go back there anyways. And so I went to a laser, and it was one of those things to like, you know, when you go to like a trial yoga or Pilates class, and you're like, wow, so I'm just going to go to a trial and then I'll figure it out later. And next thing you know, they're giving you like a whole hour session on why you should sign up, and you're sweating, they're staring you in your eyes, and they're like, now you got to sign up, now you got to sign up. And the next thing you know, you're spending $200. Okay, that was kind of what it was like. Like, I thought that I was just going to go in, we were going to talk about the content, talk about the exchange, leave. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, let's start. And I'm like, oh, I'm not even prepared. Like, I am not even mentally prepared to like have laser hair removal right now. But it just all moved so fast. So I was just like, okay. Little did I know that it's the opposite of waxing. You are supposed to shave before laser hair removal. So basically what it's doing is it's not killing your hair, it's zapping the follicles or like whatever, I don't know the proper terms. It's zapping your skin though so the hair doesn't grow back. So you have to shave before. And if you don't shave before, they shave for you. So since I didn't shave, they had to shave for me. And I completely forgot, because like at European Wax Center, it's pretty all women that work there. When you're in like laser places, medical spas, and all that stuff, like a lot of the people are men. Guys, a man has not seen me naked in a long time. I was freaking out. I was sweating. I was like, I'm gonna cry. Like, I forgot that men do this too, and I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna see my vagina. I don't know. It was just really out of my comfort zone. Like, I forgot that male doctors exist. Like, I am the person that's always like, female preferred, female preferred. So when I saw a guy, I was like, this is so out of my comfort zone. I don't know how people with a male gyno do it, but I had a guy and I was like, fuck, like, not only am I getting laser hair removal, but I'm also getting shaved. So I was already sweating profusely from that. And then I got the laser. It honestly was even painful. Like, people tell you that it's going to be painful. I don't think that I have a high pain tolerance. Like, I'm not one of those people that's like, I can handle pain like a fucking freak. No, like, I just wasn't that painful to me. And it just literally, but maybe it's because I used to wax. That might be why. But I feel like if you have piercings or a tattoo, I don't want to hear you crying about laser. It's not that bad. If you have piercings or tats, you'll be completely fine. So he's doing it. It literally feels like little pinches, just like little hot pinches. That's all it feels like. And get my Brazilian and everything. Yeah, I cannot believe that I'm just like naked on a table in front of a guy. Luckily, I was telling him about Kai. I forgot what we were talking about. And then he is swiping to a picture and he goes, oh, sorry, this is my ex. The ex was a guy. The man is gay. He was gay. Guys, he was gay. It was still awkward, but it made me so happy to realize that he was gay. When he showed me, I was like, oh my God. Thank God. I felt like I literally just got like exonerated. Like, I literally was like breathing fresh air. I could smell the daisies again. So that was great news. I will say the results are amazing. Like, I got my armpits lasered and I haven't shaved them in like weeks and I don't even have hair there. And the Brazilian's doing good. And then I got my chest lasered too. Yeah, we're doing swell. So I will say that those are the pros and cons of hair removal that you guys can do. Obviously, I'm going to keep y'all updated, but I think that I personally am going to be switching to laser. But I think that waxing was really good when I was on more of a budget and when I just needed it kind of quick and done. Not to mention, laser services aren't very available in every city. Vegas is like beauty central. You can get anything done here. And so there's so many places to get laser hair removal, whereas like in Washington, I can't name one medical spa like around the area or anything. So it also just depends on like your location and what you have access to. But I think that both are better than shaving overall. Just like for me personally, especially with summer coming up, I thought this would be perfect to help you guys out. Wow, that is all that I have for you guys today. It was so good being back to see you guys. I missed y'all. I hope that I can show the new podcast room soon. Be sure to follow the podcast on social media at Tease Pod on Insta, at Tease Podcast on everything else. I am Adalea Antoine. Rate and review, follow on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, and I will see you next Tease Tuesday. I love you guys. Bye.